Hello everyone. This is a short video message on one of the topics that have, well, pretty much caused a lot of controversies over time, over the years, and I felt that I needed to talk about it from a different perspective as opposed to what the world probably looks at it. And I think this perspective is important for each one of us because as we realize there are more sides to a story than what we actually think there is, we would be able to accept certain things as part of life. When we look at hatred, when we look at terrorism, I believe of late, for the past 15 years or so, 15, 20 years, in this world, terrorism is a word, is an expression that has gained more and more prominence because of the many incidents of pain, of hatred, of grief that it has caused this world. We look at it differently. We look at it in a way that we feel best suits the expression. Of course, there are many ways to describe terrorism, but I don't feel that it is exclusive. Because terrorism is a disease, it's a mental disease. It can affect anyone. And you don't have to have a violent you don't have to be actively violent. It could even just be in the mind. Everything starts from the mind. So I feel that terrorism is not something that exclusively belongs to a group of people, a community, a part of the world, a certain country, a certain religion. I don't believe that it is exclusive. I feel that terrorism is a mental condition that has to be accepted as such, to be eradicated more effectively. As a global community, it is the responsibility of every single one of us to find ways to eradicate this mental condition, which is of hatred, which has caused much violence, and it has brought nations down, which has caused a lot of poverty, and lives have been lost, continues to drain countries of their funds, trying to eradicate it, giving countries and maybe even leaders of powerful nations reasons to block themselves away from other countries they potentially feel harmful for themselves. Well, what I would like to say is we have to work as a global community. It is irrelevant what the governments intend to do. Yes, they are in power, but at the end of the day, it is the responsibility of each and every soul that lives in this world to make sure that we work together in eradicating this mental condition called terrorism. Any individual who inflicts harm on another with an intention to control and inflict fear on a certain community by an act of violence is a terrorist, regardless of who he or she claims to be following, to be a part of. Over the past few days, I have seen, I think each one of us has seen, many different versions of hatred. There's an outpour of hatred on the internet. And half of us, especially those who are trying to awaken, those who are awakened, the evolving ones, we are all outraged and sometimes very hurt by everything in the environment. It's a very tough phase. It's a very tough phase. No matter which country you come from, we're all affected by this. But as people of light, we can only do a few things. One is to wait for things to happen as they're intended to. And to understand that, that unlike what kind of a picture that is being painted about terrorism, about different religions, about different kinds of backgrounds, lifestyles, countries, cultures, we know what is the truth. To understand that no matter where each one of us comes from, we're all the same. There are some things we don't have a choice over. For instance, the families that we want to be born into, we choose as souls, but once we're here, we're in it for good, for some time. Someone who's born into a Christian family is naturally taught and conditioned to be a Christian until he or she chooses willingly to move out or stay, whatever they choose to do. I would say it's the same pretty much for any religious family around the world, whether you be a Buddhist or you're a Christian or you're Muslim or you're a Hindu, it's the same thing. But we all have the same biological system. Every baby is born looking the same. Different colors maybe, different weights maybe, but it's all the same. It's just a soul. We all come from the same source. It is the way the child is later on raised. It is the social network. It is the environment. It's the kind of education, the mental conditioning that sculpts each and every soul to become who they are. So even a terrorist is born a baby. I'm not saying that we should embrace terrorism. I'm in fact saying that we should not treat terrorism as something that's exclusive. We should respect the fact that we don't know everything. There could be many Muslims who fear terrorism just as anyone else, who detest it with everything they've got in their souls. I don't believe in any religion, because religions are systems. I believe in the ascended masters because they are messengers of love. That is all they ever wanted to be. They never intended to cause conflicts between groups or split the world up into different religions, systems, to divide and conquer. That was never the intention. This world created that. Mankind believed in the concept of divide and conquer. It wasn't God, it wasn't any of the ascended masters. Their messages have always been the same, which is to love each other. We're all one. They keep emphasizing on it, they keep stressing on it. They were all coming in through different nations, different religions, with all the same messages. And today, look at this world. What have we become? There's so much of hatred around us. They're breeding hatred. It's so hard to even try and make sense out of the situation anymore. But there is hope. There will always be hope as long as there are souls who are alive and walking on this planet. I believe there is hope. If there are people spreading hate, let's spread love. They will see it. They have to see it. There is no other way. Because hating anything or anyone is stressful. But loving is so beautiful. It's an amazing experience. And that is all we need to do. In a turmoil situation that we're facing right now, there is still hope. Because at the end of the day, God still rules, and He will always rule. So let's first classify. I wanted to do this right now, today. I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, because when I put up a message on my timeline saying that I would like to withdraw from people, even those who follow me, who have been spreading so much of hatred out on the internet, I didn't have a reason to judge them. But at the same time, there is something called a vibration that you work on, and my vibration requires that I am here for a lot of people, and people look up to me, and it's my responsibility to make sure that I do not expose myself to a toxic environment, and therefore I had to withdraw from certain people. That is the only reason. But in return, I got quite a few hate mails. A gentleman actually sent me a hate mail hating everything, hating just about. I'm amused at how much of things he can actually hate. And I actually felt sorry for him. I wasn't mad. I wasn't judging him. I found it actually a little funny that he had so many things to hate about, from the country that I came from, to the nationality, to my looks, to the people who follow me, to my work. And I mean, I can't even count the number of things he hated in that message. You know, at the end of it, it only made me smile, and I wished him well, and I said, God bless you, you know, and I hope that you have a graceful journey. It is perception. You see, someone else can take that same message very rudely. Someone could be really hurt by it. But really now, if we were to look at the same message and think of what the person would have gone through to get that much of hatred into him, obviously a lot of people were responsible. A lot of different kinds of environments have stimulated him into thinking this way. So we are not to judge them. We are to love them. We are to wish them, bless them, you see, and send them on their journey again, because at some point of time they will realize. Even if it's not in this incarnation, they will realize at some point. So let's not judge others. Let's not put out hatred. Let's not even feel sad about what's going on. Everything is happening exactly as it's meant to. And even if we don't see it now, we will someday. Let's just smile, let's love, let's laugh, and let's always be as we have been intended to be. Let's love life again. Let's love each other. Let's not judge. Even those who are in power, at some point of time, they will realize. We have to see some darkness to appreciate light. Let's never forget that. And with this beautiful message, I thank each one of you for being here for this video message. God bless you. Namaste.